This story was submitted by Jay. This happened on January 12th, 2016. I was walking home from school when I noticed a car parked in front of the house neighboring my house. I didn't think anything of it. The house was recently moved out of by some weird guy who sold Legos for a living. The car drove off when I passed by it, and then it came around the block and passed me again. Then they turned around at the end of the street and passed me once again. This was weird. I've never seen this car in my life, and they kept speeding past me, and I saw a man on the phone staring at me. I ran into my house as soon as I saw them turn a corner, and luckily my brother was home, who is 17. I'm 14. We were in my father's room. My parents are divorced, but they sleep in separate rooms, when there was a loud knocking at the door. We knew it wasn't one of our parents or a family member, because they would have just walked in. My brother went up to his room and looked out the window, and the knocking stopped. He saw the same car from earlier leaving. We ignored it, but we did tell our parents. Later that night I was asleep, and I woke to a dark figure next to my window. My curtains allowed me to see outside a little while blocking people from seeing me when I sleep, but this person didn't move for 5 minutes. They only left when they heard my father's loud minivan coming down the street. Some of you might not think this is scary, but for me it is. I live in a small town of less than 2,000 people. I've never seen that car, or that man. Plus, my Spanish teacher has had a lot of break-ins, in which her 4-year-old daughter's belongings had been taken, and notes from a man were left. On top of that, my friend's mother was stabbed by an unknown suspect. This story was submitted by Gabe. This happened about 3 years ago when I was in a band. We had to rent a storage unit from a storage place because none of us really had a place that we could jam with the drums. The one we picked wasn't really in the greatest part of town, but it was the only one that would let us jam. It was also really close to the train tracks, which made it suck at some points when we were jamming. This will be important later. I arrived first and set up my stuff and waited for my bandmates to show up. There was another dude practicing drums in another unit about 2 rows down, but I didn't think it would bother us. My friends showed up with their girlfriends kinda late, but I usually expected this. After we had jammed for a little while, we took a break and we were just chilling around our cars, when a big-ass rock came out of nowhere and almost hit my car. Then seconds later, another one. We looked around, but we didn't see anything. All of a sudden we heard a guy yelling, and my friend said, "It's coming from the tracks." We walked over and saw a guy kneeling on the tracks with no shirt on, and screaming, "Watch me fucking die!" We yelled back, "What the fuck are you doing, dude?" He just kept screaming, "Watch me fucking die!" over and over. I was starting to get kinda nervous because I wasn't sure if this guy was playing a prank or was on some kind of bad drugs. We walked back over to our unit and were just thinking about what to do when the guy who was practicing drums in the other unit drove over and asked, "Can you guys come over and stand with me to be a witness? I called the cops." I didn't really know what he meant, but we obliged. When we went back over to the drugged up dude, we just sat there staring at him, not knowing what to do. We didn't know if a train was coming or not, but I really didn't want to see this guy get smashed. We decided to pack up our shit and leave before the cops showed up. Then the guy just got up and started running down the tracks, and he disappeared. We packed up and headed home, but as I was at a stoplight not too far from the storage place, I heard a loud train whistle and it's rumbling, thinking, "Oh shit, the train's coming." I never found out what happened to the guy, or if he even stayed on the tracks, but it was surely the craziest shit we have dealt with there. This story was submitted by Tariq the Usher. I'm a 36-year-old deputy chief of the NYPD. I've been with the police force for 12 years now, and this is just one of the rare and unusual calls I received. It's 5 p.m. and I'm nearing the end of my routine patrol, when dispatch called in to say that some neighbors were hearing unusual noises coming from an abandoned house. My colleague Michael and I were the closest officers to the scene. We arrived at the address and we knocked on the door, stating, "Police, open up!" But there was no answer. We then checked the door, and it was unlocked. We opened the door and we saw that the place was probably empty for years now. I went to investigate upstairs, while Michael investigated downstairs. As soon as I stepped on the wooden stairs that led to the upstairs, I heard talking and footsteps. I immediately start running towards the sound. As I make it towards the top, I then feel a sharp pain in my head, and I blacked out. I woke up in the intensive care unit, and my chief came in and asked me how I was. After we exchanged the usual "hope you get better," I asked him what had happened after I was knocked out. He proceeded to tell me that my colleague heard a thump upstairs and ran to investigate. He saw me on the ground, and he saw a pair of eyes staring at him. Michael then took out his Glock 22 handgun and shot it twice towards the eyes. The person immediately fell to the ground, and Michael handcuffed him. He then called for backup and ambulance assistance. The man was wearing all black, including a black hoodie. When Michael emptied his pockets, he found a pocket knife, a .22 caliber gun, and a pair of candles. When the guy was questioned at the police station, he claimed that he was going to commit suicide and used the candles to feel comfort. This story was submitted by Danny. Before I begin, I feel it's important to let you know that I'm a female, about 5'3", somewhat thin, and I'm not a very intimidating looking person. This happened to me back in the summer of 2014. I was walking home from my friend's house on a kind of cool night. My friend lives a little over a mile away from me, so it's a bit of a longer walk. To give you an idea of the route that I needed to take, I have to go a half of a block down creepy back roads, turn onto a barely lit main road, cross the main highway, and then go down a creepier non-lit back road to get to my house. There is also a hill that I have to go down that passes our local ice cream shop and the trucking dispatcher. I was passing the ice cream shop when I stopped after hearing what clearly sounded like a gunshot. At first I thought it was a hunter, since hunting is very popular in my town, but after I thought about it, it dawned on me that no one would be hunting at 10 at night and in city limits. The next thing that happened only confirmed that it wasn't a hunter. Out of the silence I hear, "He's dead," in the most horrific sounding scream. It sounded like a man in his late 40s panicking a few blocks behind me. I would presume that he did it and that it was an accident, but I wasn't really willing to find out. I was panicking a bit, so I started speed walking since all I had to do was cross the highway. Something I should add, before I come close to the highway, I make sure I'm clear from all sides, starting from the back. Don't ask me why I do this, because I don't even know. I turn around to see a man standing about maybe half a block or so away, just facing my direction. Something must have clicked in his brain, because no sooner than I saw him standing, he started speed walking towards me. Now, the thought of me being a 14-year-old girl in the middle of the night with some potential crackhead/rapist in front of me scared me shitless. I said to myself, "Fuck this shit, I'm out," and darted straight up the incline and through the intersection of the highway, not looking back. I bolted down the hill of my creepy back road and ran straight into my house, just barely able to breathe. My mom was very confused and very creeped out when I told her about my experience. It makes me thankful that my back road isn't lit. I believe that the man had tried to follow me, but stopped because he couldn't see me. I still go to my friends on that same route, but never alone at night. If I do ever have to go alone at night, I make sure that I am biking. This story was submitted by Fresh FNZ. I am currently 20 years old, and I am a male living in a small town outside of Wellington, New Zealand. 2 years ago, I worked in a department store inside the local mall. One night we were open until midnight because it was the Christmas holidays, so people were shopping like mad. It's really surprising the amount of people that shop that late at night. The night was winding down, and it was around 11:30 p.m., and at this time we were trying to fix up the store, getting it ready for the next day, i.e., putting new sales prices up, etc. I was given a task to go to the back of the store to get some more sale signs for this particular department of the store. As I get to the back of the store where all of the beds and furniture are located, I walk past these two guys who were just sitting on the couches, and they were just staring me down. I walk past, smile, and ask them, "Anything I can help you two with?" One of them said instantly but hesitantly, "No." I just thought to myself, what weirdos, and also thought that they must have been trying to hide something from me. I got to the back of the store, got the stuff I was told to get, and started heading back. As I am heading back, I noticed the two guys are hurrying away, and I must add, these guys were the same size as each other, and also relatively the same size as me, maybe a tad bigger. This sets off alarm bells instantly, and I ring the office where they monitor the cameras and told them to keep an eye on them. They told me they just walked out of the store, so I asked them, "Can you watch the last 10 minutes of the cameras where they were at?" I further explained where they were, and they said they'd watch it back. About 10 minutes left until the store closed. The office told me all they did was sit there motionlessly until I walked by. I again thought to myself, weirdos, and I thought that was the end of that. Unfortunately, it wasn't. After the store closed at midnight, the last of the shoppers left, leaving some staff and the two managers to stay behind and cash up the cash registers. We leave out the back entrance which leads to the mall car park, or as Americans say it, a parking lot. As I'm heading towards my car, I see two men walking towards me from the other end of the car park. I start to rush to my car, but in a way that I don't seem to be bothered by them. They get closer and closer, so I glance at them, realizing it was the same two guys from earlier. I smile at them again as they get nearer, and then one of them yells to me,
"Oi, bro, got any weed?"
I just look at them as I'm still trying to walk away, and say, "Nah, bro, not me. I'm not into that stuff." This seemed to anger them for some reason, and he said,
"Don't lie, cunt. Give us our weed, Sean."
As I realized that they were angry at me for not having weed, I noped the fuck out of there. Also confused by them calling me Sean, yelling at them in the process, "Fuck off, you mug. I'm not Sean." I run to my car, unlock the door, and get in my car, only to realize that they are chasing me. I start my car and speed out of the parking lot, and as I look in my rearview mirror, I see them still chasing me, and I just say to myself, "Yeah, keep chasing me. Try to keep up with a car, you idiots." Now here's where I make my biggest mistake. From the mall car park, you can see a lot of surrounding shops and buildings around the mall. In my escape, I decide in my victory, let's get a Big Mac from McDonald's, because why not? As I pull into the McDonald's drive-thru, which was really busy, even at midnight people still need their food fix, two more cars pull in behind me, instantly blocking me in. No alarm bells are ringing in my head at that moment, but then I realize that the McDonald's drive-thru is clearly visible from the mall car park. Instantly, I know I'm fucked if these guys decided to watch me and still chase me. As I'm waiting in the drive-thru full of panic, who comes walking through the McDonald's car park? Yep, you guessed it, those two fucking guys. Now I go into full-on panic mode, thinking, oh fuck, are they going to attack me right here in a McDonald's drive-thru? As they get closer and closer to the drive-thru, they turn the corner and head in the complete opposite direction of the McDonald's, and I can't tell you how thrilled I was to see them leave. This is the last time I ever let my hunger get the best of me at midnight. Also, I think to myself, how could they mistake me for that guy named Sean when they had just seen me 30 minutes previously? Maybe they didn't see my name tag. I feel very lucky they didn't come after me at the drive-thru. Maybe they just didn't see me. I don't know if they had a vendetta to kill, harm, or steal, but I know two things for sure. I'm not Sean, and I don't smoke weed. If you enjoyed this video, you know what to do. If you would like a chance to have your story featured in an upcoming video, make sure you check out the description for information on how to submit your stories. Now, rather than do my normal thing and give all my thoughts on the stories, I'm just going to go ahead and give my thoughts on a couple of the stories, and you can let me know down below what you thought of them. Now, in the story where you heard the gunshot, and you heard someone yell that he was dead, I hope that you called the police when you got home, and maybe you just didn't leave that part in. I'm also wondering if you maybe saw something in the paper the next day. Either way, that's really creepy, because it really sounds like you might have heard someone get killed, either murdered or by accident. Fortunately, if that was a guy chasing you, you were able to shake him and didn't have to worry about him following you home. And hopefully the police caught up with him and were able to question him about what had happened. Now, in the last story with the guy working night shift, that took some balls to go to McDonald's when you were being chased by that guy. You got really lucky that they didn't see you, or that they lost interest. I too find it really strange that they mixed you up with someone else, but by the sounds of it, they might have thought you were that person the entire time. That could have very well been the reason they sat there the entire time. Even so, it's a little weird that they wouldn't recognize someone who actually owes them money and would confuse it with someone. Unless they were high on drugs themselves, which could have very well been the case. I hope you all have a great day, and I'll catch you in the next video. And just remember, it's always scarier if it's true. Watch me fucking die! Watch me I can't yell that. Watch me die! How the fuck am I supposed to yell this? Watch me fucking die, bitch. He's dead. He's dead. I don't. He's dead. Does that sound convincing? Holy crap, that's a wrap.